Six, five, four, three, two, one.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes. It's been a while. This was nice. Back to reality, though, I'm afraid. It's nice and hot as well. Too hot for me. I got very burnt on the first day, but loved it. Absolutely loved it. But we're obviously, this is going to be a bit of a touchy show tonight, I think, because there's a lot to be said. There's a lot going on in the background. There's a lot of hearsay. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. And we're going to try and debunk them all and have our say in what we think's going on. But the usual, hey, evening all. Please like and share, subscribe, support the channel. It's free. Join from 99p. Donate using the super chat in the bottom right-hand corner. Raffle tickets are obviously going. Obviously, we've got the big game on Sunday. Looking forward to that. And the draw's on the 4th of August. Community star guidelines, the usual stuff, just be nice. We'll be nice back. It's as simple as that. Gary's in the house, Eddie's in the house, Leslie's obviously doing the modern as always. More I read, the more I see that maybe Alex was offered a new deal, but new managers ignore Stavely. Emily, how are you doing? Who else is in the house? Dan's obviously waiting to come on as always, and everyone's talking to themselves. Matt, how are you doing? Evening, guys. Great to see you in the chat as always. Julie, it's great to see you too as well. Gary's well, in answer to the title buyers, yes, we are a mess, not just because of Isak. The transfer targets haven't been thought out. What happened going after young talent on the continent? Well, we've done all that. We've gone for young talent. We just haven't got the other stuff as well. Yes, I was like a lobster blade. Evening, Daniel. Hope you're well. Gaz, Morgul, Matt, and Chris as well. Right. Let's start with bringing in the one and only Santa Claus on holiday.
Ho, ho, ho.
Green Giant.
Yeah, I haven't figured out which hand signals bring snow.
Oh, is there a snow? Ooh, could be. Was that not just rain? Oh, it's not working tonight. What's going on? Oh, there we go.
It is.
It is working.
I was too close to the camera. Yeah, it's been hard to get excited this week. Just 3 preseason losses in a row. Seeing the lads struggle. I love seeing Osula getting more minutes, but that's out of necessity because we don't have anybody else. I was just watching a couple of YouTube videos, and as you were saying in the intro, Baz, it looks like everything's a mess. It feels like everything's a mess.
Yeah.
I said several shows ago, the realistic thing is since Amanda and Merdad left, the communication from the club is in the shitter. We hear nothing. This is worse than Charnley.
Yep.
Worse than Penfield, because at least with Penfield we would get, we tried, but we didn't get it over the line. We don't hear shit from the club now, and that's the problem. No, but on top of that, there is an element, and I hate to say it, folks, but there is an element that to this that we're still seeing everywhere as a stepping stone.
Mm.
We're not the finished article. Therefore, when a Manchester United comes in with more wages, when a Chelsea comes in with more wages and a longer contract on guaranteed wages, we're just not as attractive, even though we've got Champions League football. We're not as attractive as other clubs simply because we've lost the cachet that we had 30 years ago, as the entertainers. and we haven't quite recovered from the Ashley years. And even though we've got all the money that you could possibly want, the rules in place mean we can't spend it.
Mhm.
And we're stuck. We're kind of in a limbo. And players are seeing that. The ones who are willing to come, and again, all props to a Kieran Trippier and a Sandro Tonali and the Dan Byrne, the guys who see the potential in the project, they're the ones out there selling it. So, it's hard being a Newcastle fan right now. I hate to start the show like that, but hello, it's good to see you. And it's gonna be a good discussion tonight, I think. A lot to talk about.
We'll see, because we have got Gaz on, so it could go off.
I apologize. Outtempered the whole damn thing.
I might turn it around actually, because it's
there you go.
That looks a little better. Right, but
before we get on landscape.
Yeah. Before we get onto the discussions of the mess behind the scenes and everything's going on, as you did mention, we did play another game. I was very disappointed in the way we handled our players personally. I wasn't bothered about the result at all. Minutes and legs, I've been saying it. That's all what preseason's about.
And it was their all-star game. So, I mean, they're in the middle of their season. They're all in prime form.
Exactly. And the thing that really frustrated me was, I know it's minutes and legs, but you had the likes of Joe Willock on the pitch, who's coming back from injury after injury, and he's playing almost the whole 90 minutes and he gets croaked. You looked at Tonali, walked off at 70 minutes and he looked spent.
Yep.
Why weren't we using the younger players more? You had Harrison Ashby, you had the young lad we got from Man City,
Alfie Harrison
on the bench, Neve on the bench. You had all these players. And who cares about the result? Throw them on. You've got to look after the players who are literally going to be playing a 50-game season. Because the way things are going at the moment, Sean Longstaff going now looks like a really bad deal because we haven't replaced them. So I was a bit disappointed in Eddie Howe personally, that he didn't use his subs quick enough in that humidity. And I just think that's why Willock broke down. I think that was a silly error.
I think, we had 5 keepers we had 4 keepers on the bench.
Throw one of them up front. Who cares?
So I would leave Pope to 30 minutes, then bring on the Greek for 30 minutes, then bring on, Gillespie for 30 minutes or Ruddy for 30 minutes. Balance it. Try and get everybody some minutes and legs. It benefits everyone. Leaving Dan Byrne on the bench, leaving Trippier on the bench, leaving Cher on the bench. All of them out there. They're there.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they've played a lot of minutes the previous 2 matches, but the whole idea is to freshen up, top up the fitness levels, and seeing them sit on the bench while Alex Murphy is out there toiling himself, for the whole 90 was difficult.
It was the Willock one that really, really frustrated me because of his injuries, because of his injury record. Why would you want to put him at risk in a friendly like this when we were so threadbare in midfield at the moment?
Why didn't we see Joe? Why didn't Joe Linton come on?
Well, exactly, just for 10 minutes, 15
right.
minutes.
It smacked of get out there and show me what you can do.
Yeah.
For as long as you can, and just I don't know. Maybe Eddie was on his phone because he had too many things going on, and he's sitting there going, "Oh shit, it's 10 minutes left and I haven't made a sub yet." I don't know. Sorry, Gas, go ahead. Gary, I'll be there. I'll be there Sunday night. We'll get a pint. It'll be all right.
I'm fucking sick.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am. I'm absolutely sick of the whole club.
Just talk about the result. Let's talk about the game. We're going to come to that other stuff soon.
The game was absolute dog shit. I turned it off at half time. I couldn't do it anymore.
It was hard to watch.
It was shite against a team who have been put together, who don't play together, who've been put together, and they look more of a team than we did.
Yeah.
You've got a young lad who were brought in as part of the tour, who was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he played for 10 minutes. And you know what it is? I love Eddie Howe, but I don't know why he did that. He changed most of them against Arsenal, so I don't know why he didn't bother in 30-odd degree heat. Joe Willock could have went down for that exact reason. But why is Kieran Magguire at home and not on this tour? He was one of our best players in the youth team. So what's he not there for?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
It's a good question.
Yeah. It's I just don't understand what Eddie does at times. And
is he trying to prove a point, guys? Is he now trying to shove a what's the word I'm looking for? An objective. Is he now taking a perspective and saying, I can only do so much with this?
Jesus.
I honestly don't know right now. I mean, obviously we're talking about the game here, but I don't know. I think he's done in as well. I think he's fed up. And I think when you're fed up, you make errors. And he's making errors. Even though it's friendly, he's making errors. We have been shocking in pre-season. We're all right against Arsenal. We were terrible at Celtic. And we were even worse the other day.
Well, the Arsenal game, we had more of the first 11 out than we did yesterday.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday? It was yesterday.
Yeah. But
it was
the problem with Arsenal was, the one thing I have noticed in pre-season, our defending is pathetic. And I know it's only I agree with you, Baz. I don't think the result matters. It's the performance that matters. You need a performance. It doesn't matter about the result. Who cares? But when you're going around playing like that, defending like that,
watching Trips give up watching Trippier still arguing a foul when Arsenal took a quick free kick and it led to a goal. It's just like, quit your whinging, mate. Get on with it. All right, we got the foul. Just get ready for the set piece and go. He's still standing there bitching.
Yeah, it's like
he got caught out.
I've watched a few little preseason games from other teams, and they're trying things, but you can see what they're trying. Whereas us, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm seeing Sandro Tonali not being able to pass the ball straight. I mean, what the hell is going on? It's like he can't pass a ball now. It's just, I kind of, honestly, I've gotten it. And Eddie Howe, like I said, Eddie Howe seems to have not lost the plot, but he seems to have, why you would put them out in that heat for that long, I have got no idea. It should have been an 11v11 swap at half time and this, that, and the other. It's ridiculous to do that. And
I can tell you one player who really enjoyed himself, though.
Oh, yeah, but you did, huh? I wonder how the lucky girl was.
What do you mean, all of them?
Talk about a PR nightmare. Why would you put him in that position?
That's a good. Well, he probably wanted to be in that position.
I mean, I'm assuming it's
put Park in that position. I mean, at least he'd soak it up because he's the new guy and he's our ambassador for this tour, so to speak. So
why wouldn't you put the captain there?
It's funny, isn't it? I don't know. I might have all had a picture. I don't know, but I just thought it was funny that Trips was surrounded by 5, beautiful women.
Maybe that's why Bruno didn't do it, because he might have got wrong off the missus. I don't know, but it's look. I thought it was funny when I saw it. I mean, this club is not giving me any laughs at the minute, but that was a little chuckle I had because of the person who was doing it. And I did the first thing I thought of, well, who you had that night. You know?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, if you put
Brilliant.
Lascelles in there, he'd be a whole, they'd all be coming up to his navel, and that would be a bad look as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe Waldo's right. Maybe they threw Trips in there because he's the same height.
I love it.
That's, hadn't thought of that. The optics were there. So, okay, got it.
Brilliant. But Park Sung-soo did look very good for that
He looked
10
great.
minutes. Again, it's only 10 minutes. I'm not getting ahead of myself like one of my mates did on Twitter. He said he's going to be the next big thing and he's going to be the next Saka and the next Henry and the next all this. I was just like, calm down.
I'd settle for the next Park at Man United.
Yes, exactly.
Like that, it's like that kid at Arsenal and all. They're already taking videos of him trapping a ball, saying he has the next Yamal, and I'm thinking, my God, he's played 10 minutes. This is why kids are not developing, because the pressure's put on them because of what they do for 10, 15 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Let them develop. Same with this kid. I have no idea whether he'll be a great player or not, but
he's got to stay within the first squad, hasn't he?
Yeah, you can't argue. He came on, he had a go.
Yep.
Well, it's make an impression, which is what we wanted.
Yeah, that's what we need.
To see, to be fair.
I thought Alfie Harrison came on and showed a bit running around as well.
Again, not long enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but he keeps flogging the old ones. And it's like,
I
don't know what it is about Eddie Howe, right? Eddie Howe's got this, like Lewis Miley, I'll use as an example, right? I don't know what it is about Eddie Howe, but he seems to have this issue when it comes to bringing youngsters up and giving them a little chance. He did it with Miley, but then Miley came out this side and was nowhere to be seen. And it's like, I think sometimes he just, like, needs to, what's the word? Trust these young players to come in and do a job for 5 to 10 minutes for him. Because every other manager in the country does this. And I don't know.
If Gaz turned it off at halftime, sorry, Gaz. If you turned it off at halftime, you missed a fantastic the lad with the whiteboard.
Yeah,
I've heard about it. Yeah,
you want to come off?
No. Yeah, that one was fantastic. Hey, do you need to come off? And it was in English. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. I've heard it. I turned it off. I couldn't do it anymore. I was bored. I'm not gonna lie, I was bored. I knew the second half wouldn't get any better, and I just thought, bollocks, Sandy friend.
For me, it's been pissing me about simply because all of them have been. The Celtic game was at 4:00 in the morning. The Arsenal match was at 4:00 in the morning. This match was at 4:00 in the morning. The folks on the East Coast, well, that's a 7:00 in the morning day. That's getting up, getting ready for work. This is it's still dark outside shit, and to try and sit there and pry your eyelids open with a cup of Java, going, what the hell am I watching? Is hard, because I'm with you guys. I'm just upset for Eddie, because I think he's throwing everything at the wall right now, trying to figure out what the hell are we going to do. I think the writing's on the wall. I truly feel we're gonna struggle. We are going to struggle at the front end of this season, mate.
All depends if we get a striker. Right. Let's get on to the big talking point. Right. Are we a mess? I'm going to read out some quotes, and we're going to discuss it all, because this is where we need to have the big discussion. Then we need to talk about Isak somehow and get that in, because Isak's just. I've got some conspiracy theories on it, to be fair.
As do I. Yep.
Yeah. Eddie Howe holding transfer talks with Yasser Al-Riyam now, and he was very strong on the subject with a few months to go. So this is literally before the season ends, talking about going into this season. Speed is key.
Mm-hmm.
Speed is key, because we have to be dynamic. We have to be ready to conclude things very quickly, because good players don't hang around for long. Right. So Eddie Howe knew what was coming.
Season starts in
He
14
told
days.
everyone what was coming, and we've only signed 2 players, Alanga and Ramsey on loan. So that, for me, is very, 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 very frustrating when you read that again and you think, everyone says Eddie Howe's got too much control and Eddie Howe's mucking everything up, but yet Eddie Howe knew what was coming and he tried to get the club ready for what was coming, but people didn't believe him, which is so frustrating. There's other things as well. I mean, the Rubens brothers, how much are they worth? 14 billion?
Mm-hmm.
They're meant to be property tycoons. They're meant to be, they've got all this land. Still no word on the training ground. Still no word on the actual new stadium or what it's going to be. It sounds like they keep moving the goalposts with that, because we got told 65,000, then 70,000, then other people saying 75 to 80,000. It's
but then there's 28,000 saying you can't build it there. So I mean, you can't win for losing at this point.
It's stupid, isn't it? So other stuff, we seem to have not replaced Eales and Mitchell. We knew Eales was going. We knew Mitchell was sort of going. That was obviously a bit of an absolute pain in the backside. But this is what, Gary, you sent me this photograph and it made me laugh. This is how I feel this football club's being run at the moment.
Yep.
Shall we buy a player? No, let's release some trainers. Should we buy a player? No, let's release the third kit. Should we buy a player? No, let's release a training ground top. They're asking us to put our hands in our pocket, but yet the football club doesn't seem to be bothered about what's the product on the pitch at the moment. They're more bothered about getting themselves in their pocket.
It's worse than under Ashley. And again, it goes back to the communication from the club. We're not hearing anything out of the club other than here's more merch, here's more merch, here's more merch. I feel that.
But that died when Amanda and Murdad left. It's as simple as that, didn't it?
Absolutely. No,
Eales tried a little bit, but he was terrible, wasn't he?
I still think he has an office there. I don't think he's gone. I think he's still there.
A lot of people have said that, to be fair.
They announced Jack Ross. They announced this data science, technical director guy. Okay, but where's Hopkinson finagle business? This the Canadian that's supposed to be coming in.
I've got a theory on them too.
Hopkinson, and there's another one, Ross Wilson.
I've got a theory on them too.
Go on, mate.
I think they're signed. They just don't want to come in now and look like absolute idiots in the middle of this mess.
True.
They come riding in on a white horse?
No, I think what happens is basically the two of them, I don't think it's been done long. I think the two of them are done, just like that guy who came a week and a half ago. But you throw them two into that mess now, what are they meant to do? Right?
Like, I'm not disagreeing with you, mate. I agree.
And I basically think they're going to announce them in probably at the end of deadline, like when transfers are over. And their job will be to get this club ready for next summer.
It's got to be ready for January.
Well,
we're going to be in big trouble, won't we? Really, let's think about it.
But that's what I think with them too. That's my theory on them too. To be honest, I can't even remember what you mentioned before. Like when I got into that about the theory and what you were talking about, because
just a mess.
Everything's a mess. And it's like, I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead with something here. Shola Amiobi's just sent one of our upcoming youngsters to the bottom of the Belgian league team. Everything this football club is doing right now is an absolute shambles. And I'm like, there's no sugarcoating it right now. I personally think the reason it's as bad as it is because we've got no boardroom. There's nobody in there to sort anything
We don't
out.
know who's in charge. We don't know who's in
No.
charge.
No.
But Eddie Howe apparently wanted this. He wanted full control,
But did he?
but nothing's
Because-
happening. But did he? I don't know.
I don't think he
No.
did. Not from his interview where he said that when he found Paul Mitchell left and his phone blew up and he was just like, I'm trying to relax here. I'm trying to be on holiday now.
Yeah.
I'm literally being lumbered with this. I don't think Eddie Howe wants full control. I don't think he's ever wanted full control. I think he wants to say in things, which all managers would want to say on who's coming into the football club. They would want to have their say on players that are coming in because he's the one who's got to manage them at the end of the day. But I don't think he wants full control about, doing contracts, signing players, all that sort of stuff. You want to talk to them, but not be in control of it.
I have to ask the naive American, even though I've been a supporter for a long, long time, I have to be the naive American and ask. There's a scene in the movie Draft Day with Kevin Costner and Dennis Leary and others, where the coach, Dennis Leary, is pissing and moaning because he wants more players and he wants draft picks and everything. He says, it's these are the guys I want. And Kevin Costner is the GM of the team, and he says, no, your job is to coach you the team I give you.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. I've seen bits of it.
So you're sitting there going, okay, I know that the coach wants a say in what players he's got because, as we've seen, he wants characters. He wants the guys that are going to come in and give their all for the club. You're going to go out there on a Saturday afternoon. You're going to see 52,000 screaming people. And if you do a good job, you've just become a legend. You have written your own history. He wants those characters because he doesn't want the people who come in and, put their feet up and say, well, I've only been here 6 weeks. I want a bigger contract, that kind of, because we've seen that at other clubs as well. So, I fully agree that he wants a say, but at some point, is there a point where the boardroom says, look, we're going to give you players and you're going to coach those players and you're going to make a team out of it. I think it's a balance of the two.
Yeah.
And with Amanda and Merdad and to an extent, in the documentary, the Amazon documentary, we saw Ashworth and Eels in the boardroom as well. It was obvious that Eddie said, I want that guy. That's the guy I want. We want that player. And they went out to go get him. I don't know who he identifies a player to at this point. He's not going into Darren Eels' office. He's not going into Paul Mitchell's office. And if Big Yass is on Tyneside and Eddie Howe is in Korea right now, it's the same thing as if Eddie was in his office at Little Benton and Yaz was in his office in Riyadh. There's a time zone difference, and at some point, who's in charge? Who is making the decisions? If Eddie Howe says, "Here is my short list of players," try and get as many of those characters as I can get. Who's going out there and making it? Is it Nixon? Is it? Go ahead, guys.
Nobody's making a decision. Jordan Solis is sitting doing nothing. Who's part of PIF? Who's supposedly on our board? I haven't even seen the guy do a thing.
Well, he's commercial, isn't he?
I've got no idea. Honestly, they've got Andy Howe. This is how bad Newcastle United are right now. This is how horrendously bad they really are. They have got 2 scouts negotiating transfer deals.
Right.
Which shouldn't be happening.
Andy Howe and Steve Nixon are the ones sorting deals out. They're 2 scouts.
They should be scouting talent and bringing the names to the people, and then the club going out and doing the stuff.
But it goes back to the question. It goes back to the question. Darren Eels gave us 6 months. He said, "Look, I'm bowing out," and they brought nobody in.
He gave his notice. He gave his notice, and there's still no buggering. I get the stadium, right? I do. I fully understand the stadium because of the building and all that, and that wasn't going to be a quick fix. The training ground's a joke. Honestly, nothing. There's so many places that training ground could get built. It doesn't have to be Newcastle. It can be anywhere.
Yeah.
The Geordie journals have said it. They've named numerous places where there's no problems. They can build there, no issues.
Yep.
Nothing. And this is what the Rubens are experts at.
Yep.
It's honestly, it's if this was Ashley, he would be getting absolutely slated for what this club are doing right now. The owners, he would be getting slated. I'm not saying it's bad as Ashley, because it's not, but he would get slated for this, and it's shambolic from top to bottom. Eddie Howe doesn't know who's getting transfers. 2 scouts are trying to do deals. The owner's coming over to talk because Isak's in a huff and they're trying to sort a contract out because Mitchell didn't offer him a contract. Darren Eales is leaving. Well, he's supposed to be. This guy's coming in. It's just, honestly, you name a bigger mess of a football club in the Premier League right now than us.
Possibly
people are going to come up and go, Man United.
Yeah, but they're actually signing players.
They've got a stadium. They've announced a stadium. They've showed you videos. They've showed you pictures. They're buying players. They've got a plan. They've signed Amarin. This is Ineos, right? The Glazers are shit. Ineos are trying to do something, right? We've seen a stadium. Newcastle have done sod all for 2 years. And do you know what it is? The worst thing I ever said was Dan Ashworth did nothing at this football club. We have been a mess since that man walked out of this football club. And I think it goes under the radar how important Dan Ashworth was. And he was there with Tonali's signature and everything. Ashworth was involved in bloody everything. Everything. And it's been a sham since he left. Not just Amanda. Him and I.
Well, but we got Graham TC Travels up there saying that Amanda wasn't the real communications. No, I'm just saying we have no communications at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, we had Amanda on screen at least, if not every day, every other day,
and she got
what they were working on, and you believed her because she understood it. She bought into this club hook, line, and sinker based on. I mean, she came to St. James's Park trying to figure out how to buy Liverpool, and ended up walking away that day going, "No, this is the club that we need. Buy."
Dan, do you reckon, right, that all these players that have turned us down this summer? Do you reckon if Amanda Staveley was talking to some of these, they would have signed? Because I truly believe they would have. Because she would have promoted the club. She would have made it feel like the best place in the world. And I can just see it now. They'll walk in and go, well, we want to do this and do that. Amanda would have went in with all the passion in the world to convince them this was the club that you come to. And I think this is part of the problem. I don't think anybody's been to visit Cesco. I think they've sent a bloody phone call where Man United have sent a delegation. I don't think we've done that. I think we're trying to sort this deal out over the phone. And that's the difference. I think Cesco's gone, wasn't he frigging effort here? And I truly believe it. They weren't going to get everybody. They're competing with the six. I get that.
There's no personality.
Used to believe
like you said, if Amanda was still here, if Amanda and Merdad were still here, and Brian Mbuemo came up to visit, Eddie Contreras just said it in the comments. I think Mbuemo would have signed for us.
I think Delap signs. I think
we
Delap
have
is
no
here.
personality to speak of at the club right now.
Look, Pedro, I don't know, right? Because that would have been an offer. Cunha, no, I can't say it.
Cunha, I don't think we were ever in for.
No, who's the other ones?
If it wasn't for the wages, Ekateki.
Who's the other ones, man? Ekateki, right? You'll never know that could have happened or not. It would just do it.
Trafford would have happened.
Trafford
should have happened a year ago.
Trafford's the worst deal I have ever seen this football club do since Pip took over. The way they've handled that. I know City had a selling clause. I'm fully aware of it. I know City were in the driving seat. But why
they were only in the driving seat when they decided after the first few friendly games they wanted a new goalkeeper. Had we had pushed the deal earlier. Or even last year, Man City wouldn't have activated that clause.
Can you remember what I said in the group? Can you remember what I said in May? I said Newcastle need to move for James Trafford now because Edison's having a dodgy pre-season and Man City fans are starting to complain and Pep's getting pissed off. I said we need to get Trafford now. and they paid about and paid about and paid about and paid about. And that was the deal out of Pedro Delap, you name it. That was the deal that paid the whole fan base off more than anything on this planet. And it was the way they've handled that. You had a player who wanted to come.
Yeah,
you had agreed terms and everything, and they completely bollocksed it up because they move like snails.
Well,
And
I really want to pay the extra money.
Well, but if Baz
eventually
is right.
they bid the fee.
They didn't want They didn't want to pay the 20% buyout clause or whatever, or the buyback, whatever it is. No, the problem is, again, we don't know who's in charge. We don't know who's running things. And if every time we want to make a bid, it's either a fax or a phone call back to Riyadh in order to get somebody to loosen the purse strings or give us the checkbook or whatever. It's like calling for permission with everything. And I don't think we are the number one priority for PIF. Obviously, we're not. We've got more sports. We've got golf. We've got racing. We've got all kinds of other things that are taking priority over the running of Newcastle United.
What do you know? What is this PIF? PIF don't have to be there. They don't have to run the club. But what they've got to do is they've got to put somebody to run it that they trust. Somebody that can authorise its money coming from a bank that they trust.
Well,
Amanda used to do
Dan
this.
Ashworth was that guy.
Yeah.
Then they brought in Darren Eales because Darren Eales could get us a new stadium built. Now who's the other real estate or construction guru?
No.
There's another one.
Peter Silverson's disappeared off this bloody earth. Do you know what it made me laugh? You know what made me laugh more than anything is we're in Korea now and we've got sponsors on what bloody tour shirts. And he can't get one. Yeah. He can't get a bloody sponsor for a training kit. He's had 2 years and he hasn't done it. Baz, we were told, I don't know if I mentioned the name, we were told by somebody 6 months ago, Peter Silverson's doing sod all. We're told this. And I didn't want to name a name, but we were told this. He's doing naff. And he says he could have put, he didn't have to put massive sponsors on a shirt. He didn't have to do that. He just needed to get a sponsor. Anything is better than anything and do a year's contract.
Yeah. How many times did I say that? Do it 1 year, do 2 years. If you're going to do a 5-year sponsorship, what you do is you do it for a certain amount. And then if this ruling gets passed with City, you say in the contract when that ruling is done, you then boost the sponsorship up. Do you know? It's very, very, very frustrating. I don't mind us getting besties.
Yeah, look, I apologize to anybody who's watching and who's probably come on to be like enthusiastic and stuff like that. And I do apologize because I'm just like frustrated as hell with that football club at the minute because I thought we were past all this crap. I had 14 years of it under Mike Ashley, and I thought this sort of junk was in the past. And
that's another one.
Do you know what it is? Under Ashley, when Hugh Charnley was running the ship for everything, we've literally, Dan's right. We don't know who's running now. And no idea.
Well, this goes on to the next bit. It's got that bad. The chairman's had to step in and say he's taking control. He's having a hands-on approach now. Club operations. This is according to the Telegraph. Yeah, they haven't.
Say it.
This is
I don't want a fucking quote. I want to see him on camera saying our aim is to be number one because he's already done it once. Let's do it again.
That was them being silly, wasn't it? Putting massive pressure on themselves. When you've got such a passionate fan base that we have, we're easy to get up. As soon as someone says, we're not going to stop until we're number one, this is the first of many, we're going to buy into that straight away. But then you've got to be able to deliver on those words. And that is where we're failing to see it right now. You can't say that in Wembley after just winning your first trophy after 70 years and say, we're not going to stop. And this is definitely not going to be the last one. Because currently right now, we're all sitting here We've signed 2 players this summer. We've got a massive season coming up. We're all dreading it, and we shouldn't be. This should be the most exciting summer this club has had in years, and being able to spend money, because according to
the first year that we don't have Ashley's shadow on our books.
Exactly. Ashley saw the books. Also, our very first January window as well, when we spent a lot of money to stay up. That is now dropped off as well.
Yep.
I've got something on here. Where is it? I've got loads of things bookmarked for tonight. It's absolutely crazy.
Football already is sitting there going, he thinks that we have a plan B for players. Look at how quickly we got Ramsdale. Ramsdale was easy because 1, he knows Eddie Howe. 2, he was in a relegated club, and this was an opportunity to get back with the Premier League. And 3,
nobody else wanted them.
And 3, Sunderland wanted them.
Well, and 3, it's cheap. It was a £4 million loan deal, and we've got him on loan with the possibility of a purchase.
Look, I tell you what, I'm gonna pull this one out. Listen to these names, right?
Yep.
Strand Larson, Eze, Wharton, Rogers, Hoyson, Pedro, Trafford Delap, Dean Henderson, Justin Clivert, Victor Gavacarez, Michael Elise, and Hudson Odoi. They were players that Newcastle have shown an interest in, scouted in the last 4 years, right? Half of them names, they had an opportunity to buy for a reduced fee.
Yep.
A reduced fee.
Yep.
Then, them players got snapped up. A couple of years later, we attempted to buy a lot of those players for inflated £50 million prices.
Right. Yep.
And Hoyson's the prime example for me. They had a chance to get that kid for £17 million.
Yep.
Scouted him for 7 months. And then they tried to buy him a year later for 50 or to £60 million.
Yep. Well, we couldn't afford to buy him. That was the problem.
Hudson Odoi as well. Look, nothing special, right? But they scouted him. Then he went to Forest. Who was the other one I had? Liam Delap was offered to it before he went to Ipswich. We said no to him, and then we tried to buy him for £30 million. And this is what I don't understand is Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's best attribute for me is getting the best out of footballers, turning very good footballers into excellent footballers, turning average into very good.
So good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
100%.
why he doesn't trust himself to get a player who might not be fully where he wants him to be and turn him, I don't know. He seems to not trust himself to do it, and he can't do it.
But Gary, is it Eddie Howe? Is it? He said, "I want that player," and yet we don't go get him.
According to the journalists, we've got a small list of players that Eddie Howe wants. Right? We should have a large list. I'm sorry, this small list bullshit that only fits this criteria. Right? That's nonsense. Because you can't tell me that Bruno Guimaraes was 100% committed to coming to Newcastle United when he first signed. He would have had his doubts. And they persuaded him. And look at him now. He bloody loves the place. Right?
Yep.
Our striker right now certainly doesn't fit the criteria of being 100% committed to this football club.
Agreed.
So when we go out and buy players, they don't have to be 100% committed to Newcastle United. They don't have to be 100% ready for the Premier League. What they need to do is they need to have some talent and they need to turn these players into stars, which is what they did in the first 2 years. Eddie Howe's a genius at this, but they've stopped doing it. It's like we need to get established Premier League players now. We can't not. I just don't get it.
But at the same time, Gary, if it's finding the diamonds in the rough, getting them in, turning them into superstars, then we have to be okay with the possibility that be sold. And what we're hearing now with this Isak situation is we've got 50% of the populace going, oh no, he can't go. He's our best player. We have if him going allows us to bring in 6 players because of the money that he brings in this stupid PSR ruled world, then so be it. But the longer this goes on, the longer that this drags on, I have every expectation that Alexander Isak is going to be at Newcastle next season. He's going to start the season at least. He'll play 3-4 games with us before he goes.
100%. You know why Newcastle fans are struggling right now, right? Because they're not used to watching huge players talented footballers leave our football club, right? Now
You've
it's
seen it.
happening. Now I've seen it. I watched
seen it
Andy
in the
Cole
past.
leave. I've never been so upset in my whole life. I was a 9-year-old who
We
cried
watched
his eyes
Andy
out,
Cole,
right?
Right.
Fatima Springer,
Andy Cole
Yeah,
was
we've
Les
seen it.
Ferdinand. Yep.
We've seen it,
Kabay,
but
Andy
the
Cole.
current lot
Andy
haven't.
Carroll.
Andy
The current
Carroll.
lot haven't. And you know what it is? This is how a
Agreed.
team goes. This is how a
They
Tottenham
should
sold
have,
Bale.
I don't agree with that. They should have seen it because Demba Ba left to go to Chelsea.
Yeah, but I
That
mean,
wasn't
like,
that long ago. I mean, he was
yeah,
a big
but
player for us. I mean, I would,
yeah,
But
but
he
you
had
were
a release.
talking about
He had a release
you were
clause.
talking about world class footballer here. Demba Ba was a very good footballer, but Isak's next level, right?
oh, yeah, I get that.
And it's like Bale left, Coutinho left, but it's how you go on and increase the club from there. And but they've got to sell the club. And this is what I said before. Amanda could sell the club. She was
I tell
able
you what
to.
else is missing. You mentioned just about Amanda, but I've noticed that we haven't got any of the old players in to sell the club to the players. Like we used to do.
No, it's
When we were trying to sign Nekateke, we brought David Ginola in, you know, to try and speak some sense into the lads to get him to join us before he went to PSG. You know, you got Alan Shearer in, who ended up bringing, I know no one likes his name, Michael Owen, but he still had a great 6 months for us. And when Shearer was there, he convinced them to come to the club. We've always had people inside the club, if they couldn't convince the player, they would get players who played for the club, who were from the sort of area they came from, who could understand them at that age, to be able to convince them to come. We seem to have lost out on that as well.
yeah, it's yeah. I completely agree with you. I just like I'm telling you now. Does Anthony Alanga sign for this football club if Isak and Basula weren't here? I've got no idea. They even made a joke about it, Agent Asula. They even made a joke about it on the bloody video. What I kept thinking was, were you capable of signing Anthony Alanga? Or was it Asula who got him here?
Right. Agreed.
But it's going to be the same rubbish until the sporting director and the DUF come in and Piff finally say, right, this guy is in full control. He makes every decision. We don't need to be consulted how much Liam Delaf's left bollock is. You know what? This is what needs to happen at this football. It's a football club. It's not a normal business. Right?
So did Dan Ashworth have that autonomy, or did he have to go run back to Daddy and ask for the money?
I think somebody had it. I think somebody had the authority to do it. And I think it was probably Amanda Staveley. She probably had the full thing to.
Well, somebody in the comments earlier said. Someone in the comments earlier said that's what got us in trouble in the first place. Was Amanda held the purse strings, and therefore we spent more than we should have, and that's what made us sell Elliot Anderson and Minter.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say about that is, if Amanda hadn't have done what she did, we wouldn't have won a trophy. We wouldn't have won the Champions League.
100%.
She went for it, and she went one deal too far. Anthony Gordon was the deal she went too far. Right, that was the one deal she did. And the fact of the matter is, when people tell me about the Amanda knocking up the PSR thing, like I said, she went one deal too far. She would have learned, never done it again. Peter Silverson should have had 10 times more sponsors in by now than he should have, and meant I wouldn't have to have left this football club.
Agreed.
Anderson,
100%, 100%.
And there was ways around it. Yeah, there was ways around it.
That Silverstone is still living off of the Adidas contract, and the fact of the matter is, Amanda and Merdad did that one.
Yeah, and Stella was done by Piff, and Noon was done by Piff.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing was, obviously, Kieran Magguire was on the radio recently, and he said Newcastle in a very strong position in regards to PSR. It's the first year the Saudis spent money. Last year has now dropped off since the 1st of July, and they can spend a lot of money without selling Isak.
That's great. Someone has to make that decision. We don't know who that person is.
But there you go. I mean, right, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it, Sean? Are you happy with how we're doing business now, where we're not spending a lot of money and not getting a lot of players in? Or were you happy watching us potentially screw ourselves for one season, which is what happened with Amanda, but buying players and challenging. You know, it's
I
such
saw
a hard balancing act sometimes, isn't
Sky
it?
Sky Sports had a graphic up the other day that showed how much money has been spent since our
Oh, wait
takeover.
there.
Since
Wait
our
there, wait.
takeover.
Well, here's one for you. That's just
Yeah,
the
no,
summer.
that's not the one. The
No,
one,
this is
that's
just
just
the
this
summer.
summer. No, I get that. I get that.
But it
And
shows how much PSR is actually working when it comes to protecting the big six. Because look at the top 6 teams.
right. Well, Liverpool is still living on Coutinho money.
Apparently.
Well, no,
You know what?
I mean, if PSR is doing what it's supposed to be doing, they sold Coutinho to Bayern Munich for how much?
Yeah, but that was like years and years ago. They're not living off that money anymore. They're living off not actually spending anything like us for a few transfer windows. They've literally hardly invested in a couple of windows, have they? So
We've spent
Liverpool
300.
spent now. Sorry, go on, Dawes.
I was saying we have spent 384 million pounds since our
sounds about
takeover,
right.
Yeah.
and we haven't sold enough to bring that up or to bring it down. To Gaz's point, we also haven't signed any huge sponsorship deals. The fact that City is getting 100 million pounds annually from Puma for 10 years. They signed a $1 billion kit sponsorship deal with Puma. How much did we get from Puma? 5 million a year?
Oh, I
under
was
Ashley?
shocking because it was under Ashley, wasn't it?
Well,
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Well, the thing is, though, you say that we haven't sold enough because of that. That PSR doesn't work that way. It works 1 year behind this year and a year in the front. So all that money that we spent in the past is now doesn't count. So we're in a. So
Sean Taylor's saying something in the comments that he's 100% right. You know, I'm also, I saw that as well. You know, our match day income at St. James's Park over the season in 19 games, our match day revenue is 36 million pounds. Manchester United's game day ticket sale revenue with 72,000, theirs is something like 136 million pounds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's 100 million more than we've got.
Yeah.
Look, we were never going to get a City sponsorship deal, not this early, or a Liverpool sponsor, not at all, right? But after 4 years, I can't remember the last sponsor that club announced. I can't remember it. They've got
Red Bull. Red Bull is the only one, and that was like what 4 months, 6 months after we announced that Monster was our energy drink partner.
Look, I've got no idea how much Elon Musk is paying Burnley right now, but they've just announced a sponsor with Twitter. What could we, X, whatever it's called, could we not have done that? Like, were we not big enough to get that deal done? I mean, some of the sponsors on our website, our official website, are just, they wouldn't even pay Mike Gillespie's wages when you look at some of them. Honestly, it's crazy how poor we've been at getting sponsors in. And I have no doubt some of them have been denied. No doubt. Right? But go and get another one.
Here's another question, guys. And I'm hesitating to even mention it, but of course it comes up because of this third kit, the away kit that we just announced with the epoxy. Well, the curve, the arcs are reminiscent of the Tyne Bridge bullshit. You know, you go on YouTube now and where they're looking at all the kit, they're ranking the kits and everything. Every mention of us, of course, is a sports watching mention.
Yeah.
You know, and the question is, are we not getting the sponsorship deals that we are aiming to get because of who our owners are?
No, I don't believe that's true, because I think the Saudis have got so many sponsors around the world now, whether that's boxing and Formula One. I think Peter Silverstone.
It's the rules. It's
not
the rules that are in place as well. They want to sign big sponsorships, but the fair market value keeps coming in, because how many businesses are
it's the
Saudi.
ATP rules.
Yeah.
Get
The
that.
associated-
I get that. I get the can't sign a big deal. I have no doubt the Premier League have rejected deals. I have no doubt about it. But like we heard from somebody 6 months ago, if that's the case, then why didn't you go and get a short deal? It's better than nothing. It
Yeah,
could have
exactly.
kept Elliot Anderson. It's nonsense. Honestly, it's absolute. They used to bring sponsors out for cards. I remember they got a sponsor for cards. They got Monster Energy drink. There was always sponsors coming for this like website and everything. And then Ashworth and Staveley left, and then nothing at all. It's like the whole when them moved or left. It's like the whole club just went. Well, it's bizarre, and you can see Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's been getting more and more frustrated as the months have gone on ever since Staveley left. You can see it in him. And I know he was chuffed to bits with the trophy, when no doubt, right? But you can see it in him. I looked at a picture of him the other day. You know, when we first qualified for the Champions League.
Yeah.
Big glowing smile on his face when we qualified for the Champions League. At the end of the Everton game, my God, thunder. Even when we qualified, thunder from his eyes. I said that in the group. I said, Eddie looks annoyed as hell because they nearly blew it. And it's honestly,
the
it's
fact
just
that they were sitting on the pitch waiting for the Manchester United result.
when they're at home to Everton, need to disrespect Everton because Moyes turned Everton round. But we should be winning that game. They're bloody crazy how we put ourselves in that situation. But if that was the warning sign, and Eddie Howe knew that. Howe knew that. He knew. Look at that. And I remember the 25th of May. That was the meeting. The meeting came out. Eddie Howe said, "We need to move. Go quick.
Go quick."
Yep. Message. Blah blah blah. And it's been painful.
So how much do we get from Aston Villa per season? Do we know how much that kit sponsorship is? Is it 10 million, 15 million, 20 million? No.
I think it was about 20 million.
The kit
25 million.
Yeah.
It was and it was the market value thing of I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how market value works. I'd love it must be three pricks sitting in a room going, oh well, that's that price and stuff. It's absolute bollocks.
Well, I was saying this to somebody in the car the other day. We were driving. I was explaining PSR to somebody, and they said, "So what is fair market value?" And I said, "I haven't a clue. I haven't a clue because if I think about it, and I go back to the Saudi buyout of 2023, where the Saudi league was buying everybody from the Premier League, the other teams were getting, I still go back to, I was still going back. Jordan Henderson went for £80 million.
Yeah, exactly.
And we sold St. Maximin for 20.
25.
St. Maximin was undervalued. And he was undervalued because basically where he went.
Well, but we also couldn't accept anything above that because then all of a sudden the scrutiny would come in saying, well, that's not fair market value because was it one of our clubs? Was it a PIF-owned club that got him?
I can't remember, but I think it was just any club in PIF in Saudi Arabia we would be scrutinised with. Well,
PIF, this scrutinised stuff can get in the bin for me because Chelsea keeps selling players to their bloody owned clubs. So they've done it again yesterday. So Newcastle could quite easily now get them are doing it on a regular basis. City doing it also. Naffle. There's nothing to do about it. There's sod all they can do about it because other clubs are doing it.
Well, Everton are going to be doing it. We can do it, but I think we'll wait until ours is worth more so we can sell it more.
And all this waiting for Man City charges to be executed or whatever it is.
City will be found not guilty. It's as simple as that.
Hasn't Martin said that's going to take years though?
Yeah.
This is why I always said
years what we're waiting for.
Exactly. But this is why I said you sign the deals and then you put the deals up when the case gets solved. Right, we're going to move on to Isak because we're running out of time.
Oh God, let's move on to something happier.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Let's move on to something we want to talk about.
Oh,
Isn't it great we got
bloody hell,
Ramsdale?
honestly.
Yay! I'm not convinced by him personally.
No, neither am I.
But hey, let's see what happens.
There you go, Jules. There you go, Jules.
Yeah.
The charge is forgotten. I mean, resolved. Yeah.
No, they'll definitely be found not guilty, I'm
Well,
telling you.
I mean, it looked like Paqueta was dead to rights and that his football career was over.
Yeah.
And then it was announced today that he's been found not guilty.
Exactly. Right. Isak, right? I've got, I mean, Jesus Christ. It's where do I
The
start?
one that broke bad.
Where do I start? This one did break me because I thought, right, you got Isak on the pitch against Everton last game of the season with the crowd trying to find the result to make sure we qualify for Champions League football. You've got Isak on international duty, speaking in his native tongue, saying about
how good we are.
how he loves Newcastle, how he loves the city, how he's fallen in love with it. And then suddenly, after Arsenal have signed a striker, Chelsea have signed 4 strikers, Liverpool signed Ekiteke, he then decides he wants to look at his options. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Right? He then has this injury, which they don't want to fly him halfway across the world with, because they says it could aggravate it, and it's not the best thing to do. Everyone's saying that is the Newcastle United lie, and Eddie Howe lied and saying, well, it's because he's leaving the football club. As all this is developing, there's still no bid from Liverpool.
Right.
And right up to this date, there is still no bid.
And they sold Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich yesterday for something like 53 or 73 million pounds. So they've got income. You know, they've spent all this money. Now all of a sudden they've got income, and yet there still is no bid.
Yeah. Then Isak is training by himself in Spain. Now everyone's jumped on this, including myself.
Yeah.
I didn't like the sounds of this. But then when I read something from someone, I thought, do you know what it is? That's actually quite clever. There's nobody at the training ground in Benton.
Correct. Yep.
Right?
Because everybody's on the tour. Yep.
Exactly. So Isak flies out to a warm country with a team to do training to get himself back fully fit. Sounds all right, doesn't it? But the media has spun it as Isak's gone AWOL, Isak's gone back home, Isak's gone back to his former club to train because he's been isolated from Newcastle.
But they're on a preseason tour as well. So there's nobody. It's not like he's hanging out with all of his best buds or anything.
Exactly.
He's simply in a warm climate, getting fit.
Yeah. Now the rumors are
maybe he's getting his fucking head straight.
Head sorted. Yeah, exactly. And there are rumors that Yasser has told him, you are staying. You need to get yourself fit for either the Friday or Saturday game. And that is why he's out in Spain, warm weather training. Bearing in mind, couldn't fly. How did he get to Spain? I didn't say he couldn't fly. I said the long journey. Like you fly to Spain, 2.5 hours?
Yeah, from Newcastle, it's 2 hours. Yeah.
You fly to South Korea?
That's a 12, 15-hour flight. Yep.
Do you see where I'm going with Scott here with this one? You know, I've just flown to Greece, 4 hours, nearly killed me. I've got a bad back. So, yes, sitting in a plane for 4 hours nearly killed me.
Saturday morning, I fly for 5 hours to Atlanta, and then another 6 hours to Amsterdam, and then another 2 hours to Newcastle. So, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. My biggest fear, Baz, is, okay, if Yasser said that, my biggest fear is this. Because of the shit housery that this has been for the last several weeks, you get him fit and he goes out on the pitch on Friday or Saturday, he's going to get a bollocking.
Well, I mean, yeah. Someone knocked this up and I thought, oh my God.
No, the fans have turned. The fans have turned.
I think a lot of fans have turned now. Now, I said privately, if he goes to Liverpool and he plays at St James's Park the second game of the season, the atmosphere has to be so bad that he feels like he's not going to get out of that pitch alive.
Slot will not play Alexander Isak in that game if he signs for Liverpool. Absolutely no chance. Because you know what Slot knows what the Newcastle crowd are like. He saw them in the final. He'll think in his head, if I send Isak up there second game of the season, that place will be hostile as hell. And the game will be a nightmare.
We did it with Everton, didn't they?
He'll have an injury.
Mm.
Just like the injury he's got now, which is a load of shit. That's
Well, I
my
think
personal
he's got
opinion.
an
I think he's lying. I think there's no wrong with him.
Interesting.
I
Except
think
his head.
this is what I think's
And
happened.
apparently his pocketbook.
I think Liverpool inquired about Isak's availability before Ekatike was signed. Newcastle said not for sale. We were bidding for Ekatike at the time, and I think Liverpool thought, well, we need one of them. So they made their move for Ekatike.
Yep.
Then Mr. Isak and his agent decided, oh shit, we've balanced this up. I'm going to say I want to do my options, which has left us in complete limbo because we could have had Hugo Ekatike. Could. I'm saying could because I don't know if he wanted to come. Not 100%. And basically now he's got his own team, which is fine. I've heard that before. He's got his own fitness team. No change there. He's had it a few times over the years. And now he's hiding in Spain. And unfortunately, Liverpool aren't going to pay the money for him because they've already paid £90 million for Hugo Ekatike. And Michael Edwards is one of the best in the business. And he will wait until next year for Alexander Isak. He's 25 years of age. So what he's done is
next month.
knocked it up. He's knocked it up, and apparently his agent is a complete nightmare now.
See, this is it. Agents have ruined football. They really have.
Right.
Well, that's another conversation, though.
But I personally, I don't see a way back from. That's my honest opinion. I think the club need to flog him. They need to get their act together and get a replacement in. I think they need to flog him, get the money for him, and transform that team with the money and get him out of this football club. That's my personal opinion.
Oh, that's a hard question, that one, Blade. I mean, it's a very different scenario. I mean, this is for me, I think we would be a horrible fan base if we didn't.
Yeah, well, I would still, regardless of Isak, I would still clap Jota. I have no issue with four flags to
is
none at all.
Why they're doing it in the second game of the season to away game. Surely the Jota thing should be resolved at Anfield on the first game of the season. It should all be the raw. I mean, is he going to get a 20 minutes applaud every single ground this season? Is that the plan?
I didn't know anything about it. I heard there might be a sort of flag from War Flags.
I don't understand it. Liverpool played the first game of the season at Anfield. That is their perfect opportunity.
Well, it was the way I saw it on social media. It was a heartfelt round of applause, echoing the round of applause at Anfield that we got from the Liverpool supporters when Christian Atsu's death was confirmed.
Right. That makes sense.
The Liverpool fans sung "You'll Never Walk Alone" in the 30th minute for Atsu. So we were going to sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" or "Hey Jude" or whatever, in the 20th minute for Jota. So Newcastle fans will be respectful for Jota, regardless of what he's done. There's no doubt in my mind they will. I agree with you, though, guys.
It's one of those. I'm 50-50. I don't know whether Isak will leave this football club or not. I think he wants to. I have no doubt in my mind he wants to. But the timing of it makes no sense. And who advised him that?
This is what I don't get.
A complete idiot, Baz. Honestly, it makes no sense. You do, if you want to leave this football club so desperate, right?
The start of the window.
Yeah, you do it before Ekatike is signed by Liverpool. It makes no sense. Gavakarez as well. Are you telling me Arsenal wouldn't have been interested? Before Gavakarez? Of course they would have.
Yeah. And you get a bit of more.
But you know what it is? I could have told Alexander Isak right now, right, you want to leave the football club, right? There's ways of doing it. And this is what the advice I would have given. In a year's time, right, you are going to play Champions League football with Newcastle, right? This gives the club that you supposedly love time to find a replacement. So what I need is give Newcastle everything this year. Prove yourself in the Champions League, which I have no doubt you will. Barcelona need Lewandowski replacement next year. Bayern Munich are going to need a Harry Kane replacement. There's so many strikers
Thomas
needed
Müller.
next summer. Yeah, so many needed. Liverpool will come back and you name it. We'll authorise a big move for you. You can leave, clap the fans at the end. You can leave as a legend. And look what's happened.
Yeah, no,
He's
I agree.
leaving, hate it.
But even for this season, he should have done it at the start of the window, and then
Yeah,
I would
100%.
understand it, because then that gives us a chance to be able to buy a replacement. You know, we would have the money.
Maybe if he'd said after the first game of the season, we could have went to Ipswich and offered Delac more money. Maybe it could have been anything if he'd actually done something. Whatever's happened in the few weeks after the season ended, something happened. And it's completely dropped us in the shit. We're struggling to sign players enough as it is without this crap.
So was it Paul Mitchell who supposedly had a conversation with Isak about an approved contract?
No.
And we were waiting for Amanda. Hold on, wait. Okay, all right. But Amanda got driven out of the club. Paul Mitchell took that job on. Paul Mitchell had a word with Isak before the end of the season about an improved contract.
No, that's not how it worked, mate.
Hold on, wait.
Okay.
And then after the end of the season, he announces he's fucking gone.
No, that's not how it worked. No, yeah, I think you've got miscommunication there, mate. So what happened is Amanda Stavey said, we're going to give you an approved contract. Mitchell then came in. Mitchell walked into the club, looked at the situation and went, why are we offering Alexander Isak an approved contract when he's got 3-4 years left on it? He's not getting it. That was the big problem.
And then Gordon got the contract. Gordon got the contract that Isak was pissed off about. Yeah. That's what happened. And
so that's where the communication broke down. Mitchell has fucked everything up.
We signed Gordon after we signed Isak. Isak was an unknown quantity. Gordon was a known quality. You know, Amanda says Isak, because of how he performed for us, you know, we're going to improve your contract and everything.
Yeah.
Mitchell comes in, says, no, he's got too much time left on his contract to go. We're not going to improve his contract. But then they go ahead and improve Anthony Gordon's contract.
Yeah, because I think we pissed off Andy Gordon so much that we were going to sell him to Liverpool, and we didn't.
Yeah, just how organised the board really are.
Well, it just sounds to me like Paul Mitchell was a disaster from the word go.
Yeah. Did you see my tweet? I said people won't like this, but I think Paul Mitchell and Darren Eales are the modern day, the two idiots that we had behind the scenes.
Shepard and Hall.
Shepard and
Hall.
Hall Jr. Not Big Hall.
Doug Hall.
Yeah.
Doug Hall and Freddie Shepard.
Yeah, doing everything they possibly can to destroy the club. Without wanting to destroy the club. That's what
are we talking Derek Limbias and Charnley?
Well, no, because they knew what they were doing. I think, them two, Shepard and Hall, were actually, they still love the club and wanted to do the best for it, but they kept making such poor judgments of errors.
Like talking to
right in there, wouldn't it?
Calling all Geordie women ugly and slags, and then getting caught on camera saying it and all this sort of stuff.
And how much it cost to make a jersey and how much they flog them onto us for.
Yeah. All that sort of stuff. So they love the club, but they got caught out and they just made poor decisions behind the scenes. We knew with Lambis and all them how poor they were in general. Because we were working for Mike Ashley, we knew it was never going to be a match made in heaven. So, yeah, that was my take on it. Mitchell will be the fall guy because he is the guy who's made the mistakes. Mitchell
mean-
also came in, apparently, and I don't know if you know this or not, but he came in and he said straight away to Eddie Howe, right, these 4 players need to go in the summer. You need to tell them. And Eddie Howe wasn't comfortable with
Do we
that.
know who those 4 players were?
I think one of them was Sean Longstaff.
Joe Willock was the other one.
Joe Willock. There was another 2, but I can't remember who they were. But Eddie wasn't happy with how he was telling him he had to go and tell the players in the way that he said, you don't have a future at this football club. When he thought they did. As a manager, he wanted them to stay. So, there was things like that. He came in hot-headed, I am Mitchell, I'm the big guy now, and it backfired straight away.
I think what really kicked it off big time was when Paul Mitchell basically told Eddie Howe that Livramento and Hall were overpriced.
Overpriced.
And he didn't want to
that we overpaid. Yep.
Yeah, and look, in a way,
a record fee.
in a way, he's. Do you know what it is? I think Paul Mitchell works. I just didn't think he works at Newcastle. It's not the right environment. Paul Mitchell needs to go somewhere where the manager hasn't got as much say, and he can do what he thinks is right, and it'll work. It'll work at who would it work at? A club that don't mind selling players and like to bring in players and develop them and sell them on. It'll work.
Brighton.
Yeah, Brentford, somewhere like that. Paul Mitchell will work, and it'll work a treat. But it won't work at a Manchester United, it won't work at a Aston Villa, anything like that, because Emery would tell him to piss off and all. It's just like that's what happens. But it's I mean, when I had me rant about Isak before, the one thing I forgot to mention was basically my opinion is he should be out of the club, we should sell him and we should put the money towards the team. Unfortunately, I don't think we've got the people capable of doing that in the next 4 weeks. So, unfortunately, as much as I would get rid of him, I also think you've got to think, what the hell are we going to do? Because we clearly haven't got the staff to spend the money.
Well, no, so, and if we don't sell him at this point, he's poisoned himself. His actions in the last 5 weeks, in the last 3 weeks, have dismantled his relationship with the fan base.
Do you know the only way out of it, Dan? There's only one way out of it, right?
He has to come out and on camera say, "I love this club. I've been misrepresented."
I don't think it'll work. I think the fans will just see right through it. I think he needs to sign a contract.
Yeah.
Right. But the contract will not keep him here forever because it's not going to happen. He needs to sign a contract where the fans look and go, Isak signed a contract. But in that contract that will have next year, you can go to A, B, and C. For this
buyout clause.
Yeah. And that's what has to happen. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Because the fans will see commitment from him with a contract, right? And he will get what he wants, a pay increase, and he will get A, B, and C next summer. And that's the only way this will work. Otherwise, it's not going to work. The crowd will never. The crowd will never. They'll always have it in the back of their mind. Well, he's buggering off soon. And
the thing is, he's not going to be going anywhere unless we sign Sesko or someone.
But
it would be typically Newcastle. It would be typically Newcastle to go ahead and sell Isak and then say, well, we can't bring anybody in this window.
No,
we'll wait until January. We've done it before.
Yeah, but we've done that under Ashley. That'll never happen under these guys because they know Asula is not. And I've told you guys how many times Asula's not ready. And I've seen that in these preseason games. He hasn't even scored a goal. 3 games he started up front, I believe, and I'm just not.
Yeah, with our first choice wingers as well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Sesko apparently his agent's being a pain in the backside and looking to try and get Man United in the mix. Doesn't surprise me. I don't like what Wissa's doing, by the way. I understand Wissa's frustrated. He had a gentleman's agreement with Brentford. If someone paid something like 26 million for him, he was allowed to leave. We obviously
now he's down tools.
2 bids. Yeah, we put 2 bids in though. But we haven't just said, we're interested in Wissa and then not actually put bids in. We've actually put 2 bids in, both being rejected. And now Wissa's thinking, well, you said I could leave. I'm going to down tools. I don't like it. I understand his frustration, and it's very different to the Isak situation. But I don't like that attitude. Is it going to get done? I mean, I
No,
like Whistler.
that's a Ryan Fraser attitude, though.
Yeah, I like Whistler.
It's not gonna endear him to us. And again, in October,
especially with what's happening.
He'll be off for 6 weeks, so
Mm.
he'll be off for
You know
the
what is
African
that?
Cup of Nations.
I can't remember who the other striker was, but we were linked with this and another striker, and somebody made a great point. He says, if we sign them to, I can't remember who it was, but he said if we sign them two strikers, both of them are going to the AFCON.
Mwani.
Yeah, Mwani, yeah.
And I'm thinking, Colin Mwani, was it? Right. I'm looking, I'm going, do you know, that's a good point, that. And then I'm thinking, nah, they wouldn't fall for that. And then I'm thinking, they probably would, actually. But I don't like what Fis has done either. He's done exactly the same as what Isak's done. And I'm sorry, look, you want to leave a football club, that's fine. Like you said, short careers, this and the other. Well, there's a way of doing it. Isak should be in Tokyo right now, or where we are, Korea, wherever we are. He should be with them players right now. Because them players, I'm telling you now, I keep hearing Isak won us a trophy. If Livermento hadn't put the cross in and Jacob Murphy hadn't headed it down, he doesn't put it in it. So his teammates, he's got no... I've heard a little inkling, I don't know how true this is, that there's a lot of pissed off teammates with him right now.
That feel disrespected. Yep.
Yeah. And apparently people like Trippier and Eddie Howe are trying to calm the situation down. Because Trippier's had his problems. You know for a fact he'll come out and he'll be, look, we need to do this. But I've heard there's a lot of people really pissed off with him right now because they have said the same thing. He's on holiday and he should be here. And I agree. He's getting paid a lot of money.
He's not doing the graft like we are. Yep.
Nah. And they're sweating. I mean, look, I've said this.
Absolutely sweating. Tonali was like a dead rat walking up that pitch.
My respect for Anthony Gordon has went so high right now because that lad was used as a guinea pig for PSR. He nearly got a move to the club he supported as a boy.
Yep.
And it fell through last minute. What did he do? Didn't have a great season. He came back, got on with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
If anybody should have kicked up more of a fuss, it's him. Then he's second.
I heard you go back and look at the whitewater rafting trip. Isak was the least performing guy in the boat.
They didn't put him on the video. You know what I've heard? That he was. I was watching for him, right, and he got two. He was on for him for a second in a comeback. I heard he was just moaning his head off how he didn't want to be there, right? And players were getting really annoyed about it. I heard they were saying, "I'm going to kick him in the lake in a minute." Like that's what they were saying. And it's like, yeah, really, I've like, it's basically people were real because apparently he went there and he was just in a huff. They made a joke about him going and everything like that, and he was just like, he wasn't taking it apparently. And you know what Jacob Murphy's like? Jacob Murphy would have ripped the piss out of him for days. And it's like, I just like Bruno, Joe Linton, Dan Byrne, they love that they love this football club. As much as we're frustrated, they love it, right? It's their home. And they're not gonna take kindly to anybody doing what they're doing.
Just slagging them off. Yep.
No. Look at us, we're fans and we're getting annoyed by it. Dan Byrne is a Newcastle fan. He's not gonna sit there and go, oh, I feel sorry for Alex. Like, is he hell?
Did you see the other comment? I was watching a YouTuber and they were commenting about, there they are coming out for the whitewater rafting. And Jason Tyndall comes out and he's got his wetsuit and it's zipped all the way up to his neck. And then right behind him, out comes Fab Share with it unzipped down to his navel. And you know what he was doing. Fab was giving the ladies something to look at and everything. And then the next shot you see as they get close to the water's edge, Jason Tyndall's now got his unzipped down to below his sternum. It's just like, no, man. There's no competing with the Fab, man. He's not looking like the supermodel that he is.
I mean, I've done a lot of moaning on this show. The one thing I will say is I do believe the two staff members will be in soon. I I think we'll see them soon. That's needed. The women's team
That's
seems to be like literally going next level. They're clearly going for the
Oh, they are.
WSL, which is going to benefit us in the long run because I can see them selling it. And
themselves.
we'll continue to buy top youngsters to this football club and that coming. We've just done it again, 2 Rangers lads, and that they're the positive. That's the one positive for me at this football club right now is they're still buying young players.
Yeah.
Look, read that. Has anyone watched Keith Downey's recent video? He said Isak is in Spain to clear his head and return to Newcastle next week when the team is back to sit down with Howe and the club officials.
I've seen it.
That's what
I've seen it. I think Keith Downey is being paid right now to.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I think they can make it look like the club's a bit better run than it is because Hope's ripping them apart at the minute.
Yeah.
I think that's what that is.
And Craig Hope is in Korea, where Keith Downey on every one of his videos is either in the car park outside St. James's Park or in his back garden, and he's pissing and moaning about not being on the tour. He brings it up in every video.
Does he? I love it. Right.
I'm in the office. I'm not on the tour like somebody else. Apparently, they didn't want me there. So yeah.
Brilliant. Right, so there is another striker that I mentioned a while ago. Gary, you brought it up in the chat. 21-year-old Samu at Porto. He scored 27 goals last season. The guy, I know it's in Porto, and I know it's Portuguese football is not the best and all that sort of stuff, but we're talking about finding gems. Unfortunately, this would be an £80 million gem. But I think he could be worth the risk if Sesko is coming nowhere near us. So he's a name to keep an eye on. He is a name we mentioned about a month ago on one of our transfer shows. Another name that apparently could be close, a couple of people have told me they think it's close, is Malik Tau. Now, we've spoke about him a lot. He's 23-year-old, ball-footed
defender.
Yeah, 30 million euros apparently.
I don't understand this deal, but
well, I don't understand it because everyone now, every time I mention that we're close to it, is saying he's crap and we shouldn't bother. But a year ago, everyone was all over him.
Oh, where has it said that Mark Gahey turned us down? I didn't see us ever making a bid for him this summer.
Nah, that's just hearsays on Mark Gahey. Malik Chiao, I don't understand. He was on the verge of signing for Como 5 weeks ago for 25 million. We showed no urgency whatsoever to get one. That tells me that in the last 4 weeks, we've made bids for defenders that have basically said no or we've been rejected for. And this guy's probably 4th or 5th choice. That's what I see from that.
Oh, and apparently Scalvini is interested, but Atalanta won't sell him.
Well, apparently they're unsure. This is what I've heard. They're unsure on how quick Scalvini is, and they don't think he's fast enough for the Premier League.
Right.
I can't. From what I've seen of him, he looks quick, but this could have been before his injury. This is just a little rumor that I heard that they're concerned about how quick he is. He's not. He's not.
Shaw's not quick. Botman's not quick anymore. You know
exactly.
I mean, how slow are we talking? How slow are we actually talking here?
But the problem is we can't be picky anymore for me because Botman's already injured. So we've got
Does anybody know how long that injury is for?
Apparently he's going to miss the Spurs game, but he should be back after that.
Right. Okay.
Spurs. And then you've got, you know what it is? Dan Burn and Fabian Shaw will not be able to walk by the end of this season. Seriously, the one. I saw at the end of last season, them two were struggling badly. And it's because they're getting older and they're playing far too many games. And it's looking like they're going to have to play more again. Because there's no right centre-back and Botman's injured again.
Again. Yeah.
And it's like...
And Alex Murphy is a left-back and he's playing left centre-back.
Look, Murphy, I don't know Murphy. It's one of those. He could be good.
I think with pre-season, just forget about where they're playing. They're putting players all over the place,
But,
just to get minutes and legs and stuff like that. I mean,
but
yesterday was a shit show, but you didn't have Botman, you didn't have Shaw, you didn't have Dan Burn. Was Dan Burn actually playing in the game? Don't think he
Dan
was.
Burn was on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. Then so was Bruno, so was J7. You know, there was a lot of.
So was Trippier.
somebody made a good point, you know. I mean, confirm this, right? Because I'm not
Hey,
100%
Peter Hayes.
certain. He said, Tonali, Joe Linton and Bruno, I bet you they can't wait to play a 50-odd game season and then go into the World Cup. It's the World Cup
Right.
next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Over here. And if
So
you
that-
saw the Club World Cup, if you watch the Club World Cup at all, you saw how the summer treats everybody in the United States. And because of the United States, because of our delicate political situation, FIFA has been suggesting moving more games to both Mexico and Canada. Because
Really?
the US was getting the bulk of the games, Canada was only going to get like 6, and Mexico was going to get like 13 or something like that. Now they're talking about moving games to both Canada and Mexico and decreasing the number of games played in America, simply because there are 3 or 4 countries who are on our no entry list who have qualified for the World Cup.
Uh-huh.
Where are they going to play?
Brilliant.
Yep.
Right, I need to talk about this very quickly. Volovic is more proven than Sesko. He's only 25 still. Right. The problem with Volovic is they wanted to cancel his contract at one point. They're now talking about trying to sell him off as cheaply as possible. His injury record is terrible. Now, I've always been a Volovic fan and said, let's get him done. But when you look at his last couple of seasons, probably not worth the risk.
I can vouch for that because I remember at the beginning of the takeover, you wanted him, but
Yeah. Straight away.
he
get him in.
was one of your number one targets, and you've just completely dropped off him. I've heard a few things about him, hence why anybody's £15 million in today's market. That's how much they want from him, and nobody's bidden.
Exactly.
Says everything for me.
I've also heard about his attitude's not great either. So there we go. I would stay well away from him. As much as I really, really wanted him a while ago, he's just dropped off, which is a shame for him.
A funny one as well. Like we're getting on about centre backs. Keith Downey and Sky Sports reported 2 weeks ago that we had 3 players on a list, 3 defenders from abroad, and I've heard nothing since it on any of them. I can't even remember the names of the 3 of them. There was 3 names. There was 2 from Italy and 1 from Spain, I think.
Well, but it goes back to they're on the who's list and who's actually talking to them. Who's on the other end of the phone?
Do you know what it is? At times, you know what it is? The amount of players we get linked with, there's more players on these lists than Schindler had on his.
That is terrible, but funny. I've also heard that we're back in for Gear, but Palace are just literally saying, no, we're not selling him, and he's just going to go at the end of the season for free. Yes, thank you. Sunday, looking forward to doing Sunday. Newcastle also play on Sunday as well. But obviously the bigger game is at Newcastle Benfield Football Club of our charity game. Now, Van Hecke is definitely someone I would go for, but now I thought that was a load of rubbish because obviously we were after Pedro at the time, but now we didn't get Pedro. Van Hecke could be very, very serious move for us now, potentially, because them two didn't like each other, so there's no way we were getting both. But now we haven't got one. We probably won't get both anyway. We won't even get one of them. You never know.
I mean, I'm getting to the stage now where I would definitely have Van Hecke. I think he's a good footballer. But the problem is we're trying to deal with one of the best teams at getting fees for a player.
Money for quality. Yep.
We are absolutely shocking at arranging out at the minute, so I can't see this happening.
Never can I.
Shame, because I do think he is a good player.
So wait, you said the 2 new staff members. You think the two new staff members could be in the office tomorrow because it's the start of yet another month?
I think it'll be after deadline. I think they'll announce that. I think they've probably already agreed. I think they're probably ready to go, just like that guy a couple of weeks ago was announced. But you're not I could be completely wrong, but they're not going to announce it now. Because in people are going to... Can you imagine you come in as a director of football and then 3 days later, Isak cancels Liverpool? It's going to look great on you, isn't it? Where they can, oh, yeah, we're going, you know. It's so... I just think it's... They might be working behind the scenes, but they haven't been officially announced. It's the guy from Real Madrid and the guy from Forest. They're the two who... it's been reported by Downey and Hope.
It's been
and
reported today that they're definitely coming in. Just we don't know what day they're going to sign on.
Nah, I think they're probably already there, but they're just not announcing it.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're working on transfers or out like that. I think that's probably Andy Howe and that.
Yeah, God knows. Someone. Yeah. I am for real. Good tune. I love that tune. Anyway,
Jules sent me off. She said,
"I'm
sorry."
She did.
I'll tell you right now. If we got Nicholas Jackson, I would be pissed off simply because I go back to that
elbow
absolute shambles of a PK where Conor Gallagher, wearing the the captain's armband, had to come over and smack 3 players in the head because they were all arguing about who was going to take the PK. It was just, oh God, what a...
I go back to his elbow when he got sent off at St James's Park.
Well, there's that. Yes.
I don't want players like that who are dirty. No. I'm going to try and end the show on a positive.
You could try.
Try.
But if you get a positive here, right, and I smile and I agree with you 100%, you are an absolute genius here, right, Evan? So.
Now it's time for the Dire Crow sponsorship as well.
I love it.
We're done. We got it. We've already done it. There it is.
We've missed all that tonight. The positive is, look, Cliff have been in the club for what? This is the 4th season now.
Coming up on 4 years in October.
4 years. 2 Champions League qualifications, 2 finals, our first cup in 70 years. I mean, it's not been plain sailing, and everyone needs to remember this is what success looks like. Success is not a straight line. Success is a very squiggly line. There'll be ups and downs, there'll be lefts and rights. And at the moment, this football club is at a fork in the road. They're either going to turn left and fail, or they're going to turn right and be successful. But it's not going to be straight success. There will be bumps in the road again. Now, what we've got to remember as well, as we've all mentioned this tonight, we have sold great players in the past. We've sold Andy Cole, we've sold Cabaye, we've sold Les Ferdinand, we've sold Tino Asprilla. You know, we've sold Ben Arthur, who got mismanaged. We've lost players that we've all adored and all loved and all had names on the back of our shirts. But no player is bigger than this football club. So if Alexander Isak leaves, no individual is bigger than our football club. If Alexander Isak leaves and we get the money we want or close to it, that will help us to get that arrow a bit straighter, because we will go out and spend big and we will find the right players. I know we don't really have the backroom staff, as Gary has obviously alluded, that he doesn't trust anyone to spend that kind of money. But I think with the chairman now in place, being hands-on, I think things are going to move a little bit faster and things are going to get sorted. But just remember, it's only been 4 years. We've had so many... The Premier League have tried to keep us down. But as fans, we'll always support them. We'll always carry on. And just remember, we will get there eventually. It's just going to be hard sometimes. And we've had 14 years of shite. This last 4 years has been an absolute breeze compared to the last 14 years. So just try and enjoy it. That's what we've got to do. Success is not easy, but if you want it enough, we will get it. And I think we will get it. And I think it'll take another 5 years, but I think we will get what we all want. That is my positive spin. Might take 5 years, Gary, but we'll get there. You know I'm right. For me, it all depends. Do you know what it is? It'll not be a long process. I think you'll know where this club's going in the next 6 months. It's going in the right direction. Because the only way I'm saying that is because I always said I'll never be fully convinced
Pip are fully in until I see the stadium. When I see the stadium, I'll be fully convinced.
Fair
Yeah,
shout.
You
I think
see the renderings, see the ground broken.
I think with I think obviously look after
I'm
what we've
taking that
been
as a win.
through.
I'm taking that as a win.
After what we've been through, I mean, obviously, yeah, this is a doddle, right?
Yeah.
But I think why fans are frustrated is because the strides we've made have been so big in the last 4 years. It would be a shame just to completely screw it now. When it's we're so far in, but we could knock it back 2 years here if we don't act. It's that simple because I'm not exaggerating here. I've seen it before. I've seen people tell me, "Oh, he'll never leave this football club." I didn't want to see Eddie Howe walk. And there might be a day where you just get something going, I can't be arsed for this shit. But it all depends on Pip. It all depends on what they do. But I think the club will change once these directors are announced. That's the one positive for me is they cannot do any worse than what the rest have done in the last 2 years. They cannot manage it.
I'm with you, Gary. I'm just hoping. I hope we'll see the personnel announced that we need to see to take our back room, the boardroom in the right direction. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. My biggest fear is now from the 1st of September through the end of December, what our results are going to be. If we're going to be fighting for our lives come Christmas time, by the holidays, if we're sitting mid-level, if not lower, because we couldn't get the players in that we need in order to strengthen the side, and we've let players go that would have been good squad players for us. For me, it's all tempered by we're trying to find the balance. I agree with you. We could be knocked back 2 years, and we are losing momentum.
We were meant to end the show on a positive, guys. I'm going to have to do my speech again.
So, like I said, the positive for me.
Show me the arrow. Show me the success arrow again. You've already deleted it, haven't you?
The positive for me is you've got to look at it this way: is the directors will be in soon. If they're not, I'll be shocked because even the big ones are reporting that it's close. And I always said that Alexander Isak would be the one who takes his club to the next level, and it wasn't because he would be playing in the shirt either.
Yeah,
because I always said he was the one who would give us the PSR boom. And you've got to look at it that way. The club have just got to, hopefully the guys they're getting in are going to go out and spend this money wisely. Not me. I'll wake up tomorrow morning. Isak will be holding the number 9 shirt, and he's just signed a 5-year deal. You know what I mean? To make me look stupid, but it's
I'll put another positive spin on for you as well. You don't think PIF are that interested, or you think they're dropping off? If that was the case, they wouldn't be investing so much in the youth.
Yeah, agreed.
So there's the other positive spin for you. That's why I said wait 5 years, because that youth will then start to push the PSR boundaries. You sell the ones that aren't good enough, you keep the ones that are, and then we start flying because of it. So there we go. Right, everyone. We've got to go. We've got to go.
And I'm going to add on one more. So it might take 5 years. In 5 days, I will see the two of you.
Yes, you will.
So
that guy. Right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, all.